got me so upset that I almost spit out my Frappuccino onto my Shoiny new MacBook while watching this at my local Starbucks.
Yeah, sorry about that, Chief. At least you're gonna look cool to somebody. Not sure who, but I'm sure somebody's gonna think you're cool. Maybe your mom? It is Friday. That means it's time for SMG Viewers Comments. Gonna try moving Viewers Comments over to Fridays for the next couple weeks. Seems to be working out pretty well so far. So hey, why the hell not? Anyway, got a hell of a show for you guys. Of course, we put out that video on Tuesday called 11 Reasons Why Recording on a PC is Better Than Recording on a Mac. So there were a lot of comments. And I definitely want to get to some of the best ones because, you know, there's some insightful ones and then there's the butthurt ones and that kind of fun. It's lots of fun seeing what kind of reactions these kind of videos get. Anyway, just want to remind you that the SMG ckblocker noise gate plugin is up for grabs. If you want to grab yourself a copy and try it out, we've got a free 1-week trial. All you got to do is follow the link in the description below. We'll have more on that in a few minutes. Now let's get to your comments.
Who wants to be associated with a crowd of snobs who are desperate to raise their social status? They have to resort to blind consumerism. Musicians. You stated that the brands don't care about us, but we care about the brands so much, our conversations with other musicians are filled with banter about what brands are good and what sucks. Meet another musician and I guarantee the first thing you'll talk about will not be about anything actually musical. You're using a Behringer XYZ, I'm using the Universal Audio 123. Leave my presence, peasants.
Whoa, talk about getting deep right at the get-go. Dude, wow. You really hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you've got a great point. You talk to other guitar players, and yeah, it's going to be about brands. It's going to be about amps versus real amps. Is it going to be about song structure? Is it going to be about pushing the musicians to the limits? Probably not. You know, every now and then, sure, I'm sure it might come up. You know, somebody brings up the subject of a mom stand, and then 10 guys go, oh, what a wanker. Check out my Marshall. That's how those conversations go. Yeah, we are definitely brainwashed when it comes to consumerism as musicians. I would consider myself a recording engineer first, or musician second, and a very bad musician at that. And of course, yes, in this place is a monument to consumerism, but a lot of these are tools to getting a job done. There's nothing wrong with going out and buying something cool. Just remember the really cool thing is what you can achieve as a person and as an artist. That should be far more important over what you can buy. Anyway, E. Urban, thank you so much for writing in. That was a brilliant fucking insight. I think that's a great way to start off this week's episode. Golf clap for you, dude.
Mac are dual-purpose computers. They compute and they advertise your social status, just like luxury cars.
Wow, we are really getting into the philosophical stuff here this week. Damn, like I said, I love these insights. Some really intelligent comments on Tuesday's video. I'm really kind of blown away by just some of the insights you guys are giving us. I think there's a great point there. It's like, yeah, I've never ever fallen into that trap at all, where you measure your worth by the brand of vehicle you drive. I think that whole conception really comes down to some very clever advertising. Oh, well, you drive this kind of car, so you must have this kind of fucking status. I've never heard a bigger pile of bullshit in my life. And that's why I've never fallen for it. I mean, like, I bought something practical. I bought myself a fucking minivan back in 2016. And it's been amazing. I've driven it back and forth to Los Angeles from here in Windsor, which is like right next to Detroit. That's a 4-day drive. I've driven that back and forth to LA twice over the last couple of years. It's always been an epic trip. The vehicle is very solid. You can carry a lot of stuff in there. And, you know, we just went up to Metalworks there a couple weeks ago. I dropped my Pearl drums in there. We went up and did a sample set. We're going to have some more information coming up on that real soon. Got some very cool and unique snares coming out that. Yes, it should be a contact library. That's going to be for all you guys out there who don't have access to a live studio and a live drummer and all the rest of that stuff. You know, I don't want you guys to feel left out. When it comes to your self-value, I don't think people should be equating that to what they can buy. Once again, it comes back to what you can achieve. I've definitely seen and heard some amazing stuff done on not so great equipment, and I've got far more respect for that than somebody who complains that, oh, I can't achieve X because I don't have, you know, item Y. And it's like, well, did you try? And if you tried, why didn't you try harder?
The biggest downside to Mac now is the fact that Apple still own your machine even though you paid for it. You're stuck with Apple doing what they like with your software and Apple deciding when it is time for it to die. Apple attitude to the right to repair is a disgrace. I still use a MacBook from time to time at work because of its FireWire and left with 4 FireWire interfaces, thanks Apple, but I do all my work on Windows.
Wow, you guys are batting 1,000 on this episode. Damn, Super 8 Rescue. Again, fantastic point. Louis Rossman had a great video about that a couple weeks ago. Is, we're buying stuff, but we don't own things anymore. And that's how companies keep you on the tit. It's subscription services. It's like you get a license. You don't actually fucking own anything. And I think car companies like Tesla are trying to do that, especially when it comes to right to repair. I'm like, Teslas are brilliant cars. I got to go for a ride in one a couple months ago during the summer. My buddy bought one, and they're phenomenal. The 0 to 60 on these things, even on the base model, is just fucking bananas. They're so fast. But Crom help you if something goes wrong with them, because you're going to have to get it repaired by Tesla, and you're going to wind up spending thousands more than you would if you repaired it yourself. Steve Wozniak had a great insight about the beginnings of Apple, because it basically what they were doing was right to repair. They started tinkering with stuff, and then they created Apple out of that. And we need more of that. We need to foster innovation instead of locking crap down. Hopefully, we're going to get some laws to bring back right to repair. I think the more we lock down our systems, the more we're going to wind up in this dystopian 1984 bullshit that nobody wants, except for the people who are profiting.
I feel you did not stress enough the downside need for the adapters. I got a MacBook for personal use after being annoyed with Win 10 interfaces, and yes, knew I would need an adapter and a hub. When I got into recording, I needed more connection points, and I would prefer them directly into the computer. I'd cope, but a desktop PC could eliminate the need for adapters and hubs for recording. Maybe adapters/hubs don't introduce undesirable levels of latency, but I'd rather not have to use them.
Joe, I hear exactly what you're saying, and honestly, I think the people at Apple were paying attention to that one, because if you look at the new MacBooks, they actually have more ports on them than the last generation, so that is a great big positive, in my opinion. I mean, like, I am looking at possibly getting one of the new MacBooks with the M1 Max chips, is it? Like the really powerful ones. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks. I figure I'm going to play the wait and see game, and wait till my buddy Alex gets his, and he can tell me what he thinks. I want to see if it's actually going to be worth that kind of money. But yeah, the whole adapter thing is absolute fucking bullshit, in my opinion. It's like, put some fucking ports on your fucking computers. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to be able to expand your capabilities and do cool shit with them. And if you lock it down, especially to a proprietary system, well, that just sucks giant hairy donkey balls. And, thankfully the EU's coming along and saying, no, Lightning port, fuck you, we're going USB-C. Don't like it, too fucking bad. Don't sell your computers here. So good for the EU for stepping in and bitch slapping Apple on that one.
Sadly, a lot of issues with Apple are becoming issues with PCs too, except it tends to be more poorly implemented. Dell and HP and Lenovo are soldering more and more hardware to the boards. Brands like Acer, Alienware, Origin, Razer are trying to become lifestyle brands too. And as you've said before, if you don't want to have driver issues, just have your audio gear work, use a Mac.
Wow, I'm just fucking blown away by the comments this week. You guys really know what's going on with this shit. I had an Acer there a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's the worst fucking piece of shit I've ever owned in my life. It kept breaking on me constantly. And so I wound up sending it back and actually getting a refund. And the guys who sold it to me, they're like, how in the fuck did you ever get Acer to refund your money? Well, squeaky wheel gets the grease, I suppose, because I raised a giant fucking shitstorm on it, because it was a horrible, unreliable piece of dog shit. And didn't matter how many times they fixed it, it kept fucking breaking. I don't know about it becoming a lifestyle brand. I guess maybe Razer could be a lifestyle brand, sort of. Yeah, but hopefully you guys are smart enough to see through that bullshit and choose your products wisely based on their capability, not by what kind of box they come in. Okay, everybody, this episode is brought to you by my company, Spectre Digital. We've got the SMG ckblocker noise gate plugin up for grabs as a free demo download. Grab it, try it out for a week, see how you like it. If you're doing a lot of editing in your guitar parts on your DAW, if you've got a lot of rests in your music and you don't want to sit there and edit out everything by hand or hope the other gate gets it, the one that's built in with your DAW, this one works with your dry tracks. And this was kind of an unintended consequence of this plugin. It just kind of came up and I'm like, wow, this really works fucking amazing. Let me show you exactly what I mean. haven't touched any of those tracks. All I've done was throw in the ckblocker, run off a couple of presets, and that's it. If you're doing a full-length song or a full-length album, like you shouldn't be, but if you do have 11 songs with a lot of rests and you want to save yourself a couple of hours of editing time, go check out the ckblocker noise gate because it will save you an awful lot of work. Links in the description below. Now back to the show.
I think you're missing the point on hipsters in coffee shops. They're not there with coffee and Macs to get any work done. They're there for the ever so slight possibility that maybe, just maybe, if the stars align correctly, a girl might come over and talk to them.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I have to explain about the coffee shop hipsters. They don't have Wi-Fi at home. That's why.
Okay, there might be some truth to that. Here's the thing, maybe coffee shop hipsters just aren't that smart because maybe if they'd stop going to Starbucks every day and buying $4 coffees, they could actually fucking afford Wi-Fi! Food for thought. Fuck it, let's get to the Butthurt of the week.
Only real artists record albums. These singles-only turds are disposable background noise, just made for TikTok videos. If one of them happens to be to your liking, then you only have a few songs to play over and over, and nothing more than a few minutes apiece. Of course, metal is not a singles format either.
Flag down! Your logical fallacy is no true Scotsman. Oh, only real artists make albums. Oh, seriously. So everybody out there in the 50s and 60s who came up like, say, oh, I don't know, Elvis, he wasn't a real artist because he started with singles. Is that your logic there? I don't know. Maybe try unsticking your head from your ass before making comments and do a little homework. I don't know, perhaps I'm out of my mind suggesting somebody does a little fucking research into the history of the record business and looks at things more from a business perspective than as an ego-stroking perspective. What do you think?
My 12-year-old modest PC laptop is still running Reaper for me, no problem. If I use a plugin, I print the track and move on, smooth as fuck. I actually won't remember the last time it crashed on me. It's been years.
I will say there's some truth to that statement. I've got my old Asus laptop I bought in 2012. Still works fine. I did upgrade it there to get a little bit more power for gaming and video editing. And I went to that Acer, and that was a tremendous pile of dog shit. Then I got this in the summer of 2019. This is the Slick Audio PC laptop. This thing's an absolute fucking beast. The OLED display is incredible. It's got tons of power. It's really something else. My only complaint is it does get pretty fucking loud at times. It is kind of like having a small jet engine. So I can only give this maybe a B+ instead of an A+ rating. I did buy this with my own money. I don't regret it at all, but I wish it was a little quieter at times. But if you're just doing straight up audio processing, yeah, you're not going to need a super powerful machine to pull it off.
In regards to the cost purchase, you failed to address the fact that a Mac outlasts a PC hands down. My PC laptops, Dell's, HP's, would only last 2 years in comparison to my MacBook, which is going on over 10 years. Just saying, do the math.
Well, we just did the math. We talked about my laptop that's been around since 2012, and we talked about the other guy's laptop that's been around for quite a while too. So we did the math, and the math says you might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer. I don't know if you've ever maybe considered not dropping your laptop or abusing it. Might just last a little bit longer.
If you can spend the money to make a seriously powerful desktop but want to make a Hackintosh, ditch that idea. These days, it's substantially less of a pain to install Linux and make a QEMU KVM virtual machine through GPS pass-through with macOS. It's way more sustainable than making a Hackintosh.
I have no idea what the fuck that is. Could somebody please enlighten me? That sounds very interesting. So you're saying we can do a Linux install and then run macOS on top of it? Did I get that right? Does anybody have some details on that or could point me at another video where I might be able to get my feet wet with that? Because that sounds very, very intriguing. I would love to investigate that maybe a little more. Who knows? If that's true and I can do that, maybe I might investigate building a Linux system at some point. It's something I'd love to get my feet wet with it somewhere because there's not a lot of information on it. And I feel like, there's this whole underground thing going on that most of us aren't even aware of.
And what was the reaction of BlackMagic on our complaints who entered with them?
Oh, you're talking about Monday's video where I went through the 14 nag screens you have to do to get Resolve working. Big surprise, I haven't heard a thing yet. Apparently, they're still out researching how to put a flip screen onto a camera. Who knows, they'll probably get back in 20 years, something like that.
I sense a corresponding 11 reasons why recording on a Mac is better than a PC video coming shortly. Regardless, you really need to update your performance generalities given the new M1 Max chip. Your price points complaints are still relevant. I'm a PC guy, but I'm not religious about this stuff.
Neither am I. Actually, that video will be coming out on Tuesday. We're kind of taking a hint from Linus Tech Tips here. We're going to kind of start to look at both angles of an argument instead of one. That way, number one, I don't come across as a fucking zealot. And number two, it might be a little more fun and bring a few more people in on the show. So yeah, I have been working on a Mac for the last couple of years, and it's been very, very, very productive. Been working on, well, Hackintosh anyway. I am looking at getting one of those new M1 Max laptops. Like I said, I want to wait and see a couple of reviews, see how well they work, especially for video editing, that kind of thing. But I'm thinking if it's as powerful as they say it is, it might wind up replacing my Hackintosh completely, and I'll just run the monitor and the keyboard and the mouse and all that kind of stuff off the laptop, and then keep my desktop computer back here just for PC only. So, we do we can do like CSGO nights with the Discord crew and that kind of thing, because that's a lot of fun. I've actually got, Oculus Quest 2 here, and I've been doing a little bit of flying with Microsoft Flight Simulator, the new one. And, the first time I took it out, it made me want to fucking throw up. I'm starting to get a little bit more used to it. X-Wing, was it Rogue Squadron, whatever the fuck it was. That's quite a trip in VR. That one really wanted to make me puke at first go. And now I can play it without wanting to vomit. So that's a lot of fun too. So point being is you can't do any of that shit on a Mac.
Hey Glenn, any tips on EMI shielding a PC case? Of course, angling the guitar differently or moving away from the PC prevents the guitar from picking up all that interference, but sometimes it's just annoying when you're recording yourself. I'm not talking about grounding issues, more like typical interference that you get from case fans and PSUs, motherboards, USB ports, old HD, thanks, and bye.
Maybe that needs a dedicated episode, because there's no way I can answer all that in just, a minute or two here. Here's the thing I would suggest though. Here it is. I use one of these for switching my cameras, actually, with my ATEM. I did have the Bluetooth one, but my Bluetooth on my Mac's kind of shit in the bed right now. It only works sometimes. This is a direct hardline connection right in it, and it's got keyboard commands. So what you could do is you could actually do keyboard macros with a foot switch and keep yourself at a distance from your computer, but a few feet back, so you're not going to pick up all the interference. And this could be your record button, this could be your stop button, this could be your rewind, something like that. And that way you won't have to keep shifting back and forth to your desk, and you can just concentrate more on the playing. These things are like maybe $50 on Amazon. They're actually pretty fucking cool. I mean, like, they're plastic. Don't crack somebody over the head with it, because you'll probably break it. But if you treat it well, it'll probably do all right. Of course, what do I know? I just dropped mine on the floor. But when it comes to isolating fan noise, it definitely pays to do some homework on low noise fans, making sure the video card you have is going to spool down when it's not running video games, that kind of thing. Alex and I did that Hackintosh builder a couple years ago. You can see this glowing off from the distance here. Antec gave us a really nice low noise case, and it's absolutely stellar. I absolutely love this thing. It's quiet as death. And, this is the thing, I've built a bunch of low noise PCs over the years. I remember walking into a computer shop there maybe about, 2008, 2009, and my buddy runs it, and he's like, oh, look at this ridiculous thing. And it was like, the case was like sitting on two little pucks, and then it sat in something else to like keep it level. And he was laughing. This is the most stupid design I've ever seen. I'm like, no, that's a low noise case. I'll take it. I bought it right on the spot, and that became my PC case for a number of years, and that was great. All the hard drives internally were all shock mounted and stuff. It was really fucking cool. Fortunately, we've moved on to SSDs. Like, I've got a couple of NANDs and SSDs in this machine, so everything's solid state. So that's deadly quiet as well. Definitely recommend going that route, so you don't have to hear hard drives grinding away. I really don't miss the sound of that one bit at all. But big, low rotation fans are definitely the way how to go. Again, I think the loudest thing in here right now is probably this light that's out of frame right now. This is one of the Aperture 120Ds, and that's extremely low noise. You're not hearing it on the mic. I can hear just a little bit of whisper, but it's loud. It's still a little bit louder than my desktop machine, but I'm very happy with the noise levels I'm working with these days.
Watched a few videos and had to subscribe. I enjoy metal, but I don't play out because, I like to actually make money. LOL. Anyway, I was curious if you had checked out the SoundCraft UL24R as an interface. I love my UI16 for mixing the band out live. The 24R is a worthwhile interface. I'd gladly upgrade. Thanks for delightfully entertaining videos.
Hey there, Murphy. Thanks so much for writing in. I'd just like to say welcome aboard, and I'd like to thank everybody else who hit that subscribe button, who's coming on board to the show. You're more than welcome here. If you've got a question, I'll try and answer it. As for that board, I haven't taken a look at it yet. I don't even know what it is. I'm guessing it's a mixer with some digital back end and whatnot. I mean, I'm looking at this thing right now. Somebody sent me this. This is called a Flamma. This is from China. This is like 2 channels. And I was like, oh, come on, it's just another 2-channel mixer. And then I look and it's like it's got a digital end on it too. It's like this thing doubles as an interface. Yeah, it's got fucking USB on the back here. So you can use this as a 2-channel recording interface, actually a 4-channel recording interface. This might actually be kind of badass, and it's got a built-in amp sim too. So I'm going to be looking at this in the coming weeks. Might be kind of cool to check out. So it's not an easy answer to your question. If somebody has some experience with that, would like to chime in, that'd be great. A thing I'd recommend, though, is coming over to the SMG Discord and asking a question about it there. It's a great bunch of dudes in there, and you might just get the help you're looking for. I do drop in from time to time, and I do a premium thing every Sunday where we check out user mixes, that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun, and it's definitely a cool thing to do. Oh, yeah, and we do Counter-Strike nights every now and then, too, so that's a lot of fun as well. Anyway, if somebody does have some information on that SoundCraft board, please leave a comment below, because I'd like to hear about it, too.
Personally, I use Linux because it's the same as Mac, but it's way more customizable, and it's free in 99% of cases. I will stop here before I start sounding like an average Linux user. XD.
It's the same as Mac, but it's not. Okay, I'm not quite following you there. Again, I don't think I've ever used a Linux system, and is it any good? Like, can we record audio on it? I heard Reaper's available on it, but can you run VSTs on it? That's a question I don't know, and it's like, if I go to a Linux system or I do a Linux build, am I even going to be able to get anything done? Are there any decent video editors on Linux? This is another fucking question. There's something that's going to compete with Resolve? Big question mark there. Then again, if you guys have some comments or you can point me in the right direction, I'd very much appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Glenn, sell me that solar?
Yeah, fuck you, Mike. That's not happening. Yeah, you guys have been seeing this in the background and whatnot. This is the Solar T. It is oh so nice. It's definitely heavy. I'm going to have a full review coming up on this guitar on the 15th of November. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, all that, so you get notified for when this comes out, because this is going to be a review you guys are going to want to see. I'm very, very impressed with this guitar so far, but I can't wait to give you guys full rundown. You can hear what it's all about. I'm very impressed with what Solar's been putting out as of late. And I've always wanted a Tele style guitar, and who'd have thought it would be coming from Solar? There you go. Some of the most badass guitar sounds I've ever gotten in my entire career have been with Teles, loaded up with like hot rails. And oh, what do we got here? We've got one with a hot rail in it. Very cool indeed. Anyway, this is like what, day 3, day 4 of my 30 videos in 30 days for November. So I'm just going to say, stick with me. Hopefully I'm not going to get completely burned out on this. Hopefully I can keep up with the demand and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully my editors can keep up. Just want to give a great big shout out to all those guys. You guys are fucking amazing, and you're the ones making it possible. Otherwise I would lose my fucking mind. Anyway, don't forget, if you want to speed up your mixing process and take a lot of time away from editing guitars, especially a lot of rests and whatnot, check out the SMG ckblocker noise gate plugin. It will definitely speed up your workflow. It's free to try. Links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to start my new series on recording drums. It's going to be every Saturday for the next few weeks. I can't call it How to Record Heavy Drums. I still haven't got the title yet. I'm going to be scripting that later this day and tomorrow and shooting all that kind of stuff. And we're going to be taking a look at how I used to record and what I've updated and how my philosophy has changed over the last several years as my technique evolves. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be great for those of you guys who are at home or scratching the heads like, why does my drum sound like shit? Well, I'm going to do my best to help you guys get better drum sounds. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow, because it's going to be an awful lot of fun, and hopefully somebody's going to learn something along the way. Once again, thanks so much for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing. I really do appreciate your support for the show day in, day out, year after year. You guys are fucking amazing. And it is my privilege and my joy to continue doing this show for you guys. Thanks ever so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.